Hi everyone, this video is going to get into the new category, which is cells, and specifically insertion and selection, and it's a bit more of a theoretical video. The official task is understand that a cell in a worksheet should only contain one element of data and one like a quantity or a description, and I'm just going to demonstrate what it's talking about really. So even if you look at this, which is it's a data extract from whatever Microsoft database that you can install on your computer if you feel like, but if you just have a look at it, this is actually good practice, because in one column you have something that's a date format, and then text, number, text, and that one with the sizing, it's a hit or a miss. One could put the size in a different, one could observe that one half of it is description and the other half is size, which then makes it a number, but that should go into separate one perhaps. Price is numerical, and this is all price. Now, the underlying reason for wanting to separate things, and this is where it gets a bit theoretical, if I go into a blank worksheet, which I used for one of the older videos, if you start working with the idea of, let's say, you know, item, price, VAT, and total. So if you say apple, and then you say it's an expensive apple, price is 2, VAT is, I don't know, 17%. The total is going to be 2 plus 2 times 17%. You know, that's your total. And what you have here is good practice, because you have your item being a text value, and then these are numeric values. The reason why you don't want to start doing things like saying, you know, $2 is because that immediately becomes a mixed type, which for simplicity's sake is handled as text, and Excel doesn't understand on its own that $2 is meant to be a number too. And newer versions of Excel are smart enough to recognize that if you say $2, then, well, it may or may not be a numeric value. Actually, I just said they're smart enough, but clearly they're not smart enough, so there you go. Don't say $2 that way, because it will still not work, and see how the calculation is now broken. And it works probably the same way if I say pounds. Actually, with pounds it does recognize it. I'm tempted to believe that's because this one is set to UK English other than US English. Nonetheless, don't store numbers with text, because it will throw off your calculations. That's the biggest thing about good practice, and the idea that one cell should only contain one type of data. You can always, you know, if you really need to specify things like I don't know, currencies or something, you can always stick in another column and just say currency, and then you can say USD, and then just leave the S2. And the reason why it's saying pound is because it now thinks it's actually a currency, and this computer being UK English, it defaults to pound sterling. But if you look at it this way, it now works, and if you want to change your currency to something else, you can always say euros or GBP or whatever you have, and that way you retain keeping data types separately. So I appreciate this is a bit theoretical and may possibly be confusing, but idea is anything that is text goes into one cell, and anything that's a number goes into a separate cell, and anything that might be a date or a time or anything else goes into separate cells as well, depending on their data types. So I hope that was useful. The next one's going to be good practice with lists and blank rows and a bit more theory. So slightly a longer video coming up again, but it's actually quite useful. And keep watching please, and any questions you may have, just drop me a comment on YouTube. Thank you.